Hi, welcome. My name is Chris Lapine, spiritual liberation author and speaker. And today's topic is how to create a supercharge environment. It's real important, as you may have seen in some of my other videos, to get recharged, because when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to face the challenges of life, you are draining actual energy out of yourself. Not only emotional or mental energy, not only physical energy, but spiritual energy. And if you just cruise along and you're not trying to grow, you can live a life of just what I would call flatness, where you're happy with where you are, you don't care. But what I'm assuming is that the reason you're watching this video is that you want to go to a new dimension of yourself. You want to go to a better self, a better place. So that's what creating a supercharge environment is all about. Unless you create a supercharge environment, you are not going to be able to make significant lasting changes. It's real critical. And being supercharged means that you are tapping into the divine energy that's within you, that's already provided by God, that's already provided by the Father of the entire universe, your personal loving Father. So when you do tap into that, then you can do tremendous things. And that's really just an amazing thing. Think about it. Think about something you want to change in yourself that you wanted to change and you can't change. You're just frustrated with it years and years and years. Well, supercharging enables you to thaw yourself out, to thaw your mind out, to thaw out your habits of reaction and thinking and perceiving the world. It lets you put aside your assumptions and be infused with the absolute energy of our loving, divine Heavenly Father, of our loving Father God. That's critical, to tap into that. Without tapping into that, you're just not going to make progress. So today, we really want to look at, okay, I want to get this energy, I want to keep going, I want to improve. How best can I set this up? And like an environment for anything, it's critical to get the right environment. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there are certain things you want to do, and that's what I'm going to show you today, talk about in a couple things that I do, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you. So, as you can see, I'm in my car, and I'm just going to start up the old Subaru here, and then probably put on some pretty good music here. I don't know what I've got playing here, but then we'll be off, and I'll show you some of the places I go and what works for me, and maybe some things will work for you. I'll see you soon. I better turn off the camera and be a safe driver. Hey everybody. So as you can see, I'm out of the car and I've reached my location. It's a really beautiful day out here today. I'll try to do the Steadicam thing for you and not jiggle the camera too much. But as you can see, it's a park nearby. You probably can hear the mowers going because they are doing the fields, but hopefully that'll calm down. One of the things I like about this area is that I go on a little bit of a hike, I go on a little bit of a walk before I get to my supercharge area. And that takes me about 15 or 20 minutes. I'll show you some of the things along the way. It really is quite beautiful. And so if there's a way when you're getting ready for your environment to gradually calm yourself down and get with that environment, that's good. And I guess lawnmowers help as well, because I've got lawnmowers today and I'm feeling pretty peaceful. But this is the trail. I'm going to go ahead and start out. I'll show you some things later, and hopefully everything will go smoothly. Okay, I am almost at my spot, and one of the things that you want to think about is just having a place that really inspires you, that is peaceful, that is private, that is quiet if you can. So if you look down, There's a place where I can sit with my back straight, vertical, keeps me awake, keeps me alert. And I get to look out on this magnificent tree and of course the forest all around. And if you've looked at other videos, you realize that it really is something that I think is very important, that you are able to supercharge your soul. And it's this energy that allows you to do the important things in life, to make the changes you need to make. Without that energy, you just can't go forward. And the only way to get that energy is not by thinking about it, or not by doing physical things or emotional things or even socializing. I mean, ultimately, those things are all really important and we need them. But ultimately, if you're going to supercharge your soul, if you're going to move to the next level, you need to get that energy, just like water. And the only way to do that is to have an environment where you can have a chance of getting the most energy you can. And that's what today's video is all about. So the first thing you want to think about is, where can I be? What do I have access to that's going to be peaceful for me, that's going to be inspiring for me? And this is, as you look around, this is one of my favorite places. I am extremely lucky to be so close to a forest. I can get in my car, I can even ride my bike, and within a few minutes I can be in a place like this, just hike in. And I know that the vast majority of you don't have access to a place like this, but that doesn't mean you can't find a way to be peaceful somewhere. The best place then, if you can't be in a place like this, is of course your own home. If you do have access to some place outside, then that's great. Now, it's pretty quiet in here right now, but there are neighborhoods around. Before there was a lawnmower, and sometimes you get airplanes or other people walking around. The important thing is that you can find a place where you're alone, and eventually you'll be able to quiet your mind enough that those other distractions will be less important. They'll be there. You'll get better at it, but they'll be less important. So the first thing is, find a place where you can be alone. Find a place that really inspires you, and hopefully it is a place that is really beautiful, that's going to bring up those feelings of awe and reverence and thanksgiving for the incredible place that you're in. That's the first thing. And beyond being an inspiring place, you want it to be a place where you can be comfortable. That's really important. So right now I'm sitting on a log. You can't see it, but there's a log down here, and it's got enough room for me, and I'm comfortable. And I can also even keep my back straight in a fairly comfortable way. Now, I know some people have back problems, and that's an issue. So if you can, find a way to keep your back as vertical as possible. If you've got back problems, if you can't do it that long, then you find a position you can be in where you can be awake the longest. The problem with lying down is, of course, when we lie down, we typically think sleep, or that we want to sleep, or we think passive. So you want to try to keep your back erect, straight, if you can. That's important. And then you want to also make sure that you're alone in this environment, and that you're not going to have anyone intruding on you. So I've got this little place in the forest which is up above the trail. No one can see me, and I'm fairly far back from the trail. I can still hear people. They might be able to hear me talking. Probably not, because I'm not talking that loud. I guess if I was shouting, and they could hear me. But you just want to make sure that you're going to be alone wherever you are. And if you're in a place where you can let people know, hey, I'm going to have my quiet time, or I don't want to be disturbed, then that's going to help quite a bit. Sometimes you can't do it with kids and other people in your life, but it's really important that this place that you're in, maybe it's a place like this, maybe it's at home, maybe it's in a park or another building, maybe it's a hotel room if you're traveling, maybe it's your car when you're not driving, that it is a place which is very conducive to letting you completely give yourself over to this without being disturbed. You don't want any distractions. That's the critical thing. And what you will find as you're doing this, once you get this really nice environment set up, that it's going to be a lot easier to connect. When you go into your special place, your special worship area, when you go into your special supercharge area, eventually you're going to automatically start to relax because you've been there before and because you've been able to relax in that area before. So it's you're learning it. You're learning this response to this environment. You're conditioning yourself. You're getting used to it, and it will automatically help your mind. So if you can do that, that's great. I'll give you an example. So I was really wanting to supercharge myself, and so I wrote this book, How to Supercharge Your Soul in a Digital Age. I write the book, and I haven't been doing it as much as I wanted to. So I said, you know what? I'm really going to make a point of this. So I made a plan, and I said, I'm going to get out on the weekend, and I'm going to go find a nice spot and just do it. And I found this spot, and the first time it was a little difficult, but the next time it was easier. And I soon found that it was just the perfect conducive environment. And as time went on, the minute I sit down on this log, I can go into a relaxed state of mind within just a couple minutes. It's no matter what's happening in my life. And I've had some some challenges like everyone else has from time to time. So that's important. Once again, so just to review, the place where you're going to really have a conducive environment for supercharging. So number one, it has to be a place that inspires you. It has to be a place, number two, where you're alone and can be undisturbed. It has to be a place where you're comfortable. Whatever your physical condition, where you're comfortable. It really has to be ultimately a place, lastly, that you can return to again and again. And that's pretty important, because if you can return to the same place again and again, that means it's possible to do it. It's feasible. It's doable. So, but if it's really hard to get to a place, it takes you forever. Let's say you had to drive an hour to a place, and you do it there. All right. Well, how likely is it that you're going to do it in the future? But if it's a place that you can get to easily, and it's pretty certain that you're going to be undisturbed and peaceful and inspired there, then that's really what you want to think about. That kind of place. It might not be outside, it might be inside. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and have your supercharging time outside. But it does mean that you do need a regular place to keep the habit going. And once you do this habit, then it really starts to build, which gets to another point I want to make today. And that's that, of course, the more you do something, the more you're likely to do it in the future. It's real important. So you can do this spontaneously throughout the day, and that's fantastic. And please, you go where the Spirit leads you. If you're driving in your car, if you're at work, if you're with your kids, whatever you're doing, you should always want to bring in the presence of God, the Spirit of God. You always want God present with you, if you can. And you'll find that the more you do it, the more you're likely to do it. But the real thing that makes that possible is finding an environment where you can reliably supercharge yourself in a big way. In a big way. It takes a significant amount of time to really get that battery charge for the day and keep doing it. So that's important. And you can use whatever method you want to try to do that. But here, what I suggest is that you put some structure on it. That you say, all right, at 7 o'clock every morning, or whatever time it is, I'm going to supercharge. I'm going to spend some time with God. If you make it the same time every day, you can see that it'll become a habit. And just think of it. You get up in the morning, make your bed, you brush your teeth, probably take a shower or a bath. If you're a guy, you shave, and your face anyway. And then you get ready for your day. So those are things that we all pretty much do every day, and the supercharging should really be a part of that. So it's a regular thing you want to do. Again, think of the importance of it. Supercharging is as important to your soul as water is to your body. Jesus referred to it as the water of life. So having an environment where you can reliably get a nice big drink of water is really helpful. I pulled this water out of a nice filtered tap. It's great water. Nothing wrong with it. Now, if I couldn't find a reliable source of water, for instance, it's what you're putting into yourself, then I'm going to get pretty thirsty. And if you try to nourish yourself with other environments, if you try to nourish your soul with other environments that aren't good for it, if you put in faulty water, then you're going to have the same kind of issues you might have with your body. You may get sick. You may never quench your thirst. So it's really only by creating the conditions for supercharging that you can quench that absolute spiritual thirst. That absolute spiritual thirst. And I'll get on that in another video on what I recommend on doing that. So have something that you can do reliably. Now, you may think, and some of you may think, look, Chris, this is too structured. You're trying to make us get in a box, and my spirituality is free-flowing, and I'm creative, and I absolutely agree. I don't want to do that for you. I don't want to tell you to do that. It's up to you to come up with what works, but I can tell you that by going through and providing structure, it will help you. Even if you don't think it will help you, I challenge you, give it a shot. Pick a time every day that you're going to supercharge. You may want to do it 2 times, 3 times. It's up to you. I prefer the morning. I'm a morning person because it's right at the beginning. It's before my entire day and everything I have to deal with. So I may have a supercharge from the night before, but that's going to dip as I go throughout my day. But if I can get it again in the morning, it's going to really help. So I encourage you to make a regular habit of it. Keep your mind open, give it a shot, and I think you're going to see some good results. Even if you don't think it's going to do anything, I challenge you to do it every day, to set up that supercharging environment. Just go there, even if it's 2 minutes. I'm absolutely serious. If you do it for 2 minutes every day, you will notice that things are going to change. You're making it possible. You're giving a canvas. You're giving God a canvas to work with by making that time. So I encourage you, try it, give it a shot, and eventually you're going to want to do it more. You're going to not only want to do it more often, but longer. When I started this in the beginning, many years ago, I could barely sit still. My brain was like a squirrel, and I just couldn't do it. But as I did it more, I found that it was really helping me. At first, look, at first when you do this, you may think, I am way too busy to go off and supercharge. I don't have time. You know, I have kids to take care of, I have a job to deal with, the house. It takes me an hour to get to work, an hour to get back. Whatever it is, we all have incredible challenges in this really disturbing time. It may be that an apartment that you live in is too noisy. It may be that your neighborhood is too dangerous. It could be a million things. But I absolutely promise you that if you suspend your disbelief, if you give this thing a chance for a week, just do it a little bit every day. If you let go of your prejudices and your assumptions and just let it start to work, I promise you, you're very, very likely to see results within a week. I mean, you start to feel something different, a little bit. Now, some people may see pretty big results. Some may just kind of notice a difference in their thinking. But the thing is, we often think that I don't have time to do this. And the thing is that we actually all have some time. You think about the things you do in your day. So as you do this, it may seem time consuming. It may seem like a lot of extra effort to even get this set up, to get an environment set up, or to find an environment. What will happen is that there will be gradual changes, and you'll start to notice your thinking will change and other things will change about you. And I've talked about this in other videos, and I don't want to go into too much depth on that, but the whole point is, please give it a shot. Find your environment, set it up, make sure you've got the right conditions, you're alone, you're undisturbed for your quality, total quality time with God and with your spirit, where you can get supercharged for the day. I promise you, if you persist, keep going, day after day, week after week, you will see changes. Don't expect to see dramatic changes, but have faith. Accept what you're starting to experience inside from this process. Just like growing, putting seeds in the ground and watching them grow. At first it's slow, but it will happen. You will enjoy the process. It will go forward. Whether you have mental health issues, whether you have giant stressors in your life, whatever, this will help you. Take your time, be patient, and I promise you that God is going to come into your life more. You're going to feel that presence. You're going to feel that energy growing throughout the day. You're going to be supercharged. You're going to get there. It starts with creating that environment. So, thanks for joining me today. My name is Chris Lapine, spiritual liberator. Let me try that again. My name is Chris Lapine, spiritual liberation author and speaker from findmynewlife.com. This has been inspired by part 4 of the Urantia book. Thanks, and go out and find your environment.